Atakayecha mvunguni sharti ainame. Atakayefaimba piga hii namba tafadhali. For only 40,000 shillings per month, Faimba Business 15 with up to 15 megabits is ideal for medium offices of between 41 to 50 users. This package is ideal for heavy web browsing, heavy online backups, cloud connectivity, video conferencing, webcams, and online-based business. Fiber, powered by Jamii Telcom.
Wewe, maisha si kila wakati ni kucheka cheka. Ikifika mambo na pesa, wacha tukue serious. Una maswali kuhusu maisha yako, ama unaishi maisha ya kupata hoteja, ningependa kukualika kwa tarasa langu upate majibu kuhusu mambo kama life cover, pension plan, na saiti kutoka kwa wataalamu wa kifedha kutoka Old Mutua.
Mafunzo ya kifedha yatafanyika Nakuru Old Town Hall nyuma ya America Hotel mjini Nakuru tarehe 11 mwezi wa Oktoba kuanzia saa
to 100,000 shillings cash. You can also choose the yellow card to win instant prizes. Guinness, made of more.
Stop tapping and start shaving. Introducing Gillette Blow 3. Its open blade, easy rinse design gives you cleaner blades for a smooth shave. No more tapping. Gillette Blue 3. Cleaner blades for a smooth shave. Gillette by P&G. Everyday quality brands.
Mama, why does the moon only come out at night?
So that it can sing you a sweet lullaby.
And stars?
They make sure nothing disturbs your sleep.
Then why do these mosquitoes come?
Then let's teach these mosquitoes a lesson, because Mama has Mortein Doom, which makes mosquitoes go away and not come back the whole night. So you get a peaceful night's sleep all night long.
Mortein Doom. A peaceful night is a Mortein Doom night.
Now at a reduced price of only 299 shillings for a limited period. Get it today and save 100 shillings.
Hello everybody.
Who does that?
Kiatu inatupa huko kama risasi.
Oh my!
Umenikalia chapati.
Ha, get a life.
Welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the poolside of the Intercontinental Hotel. If you're just joining us right now, it's getting steamy and hot and smoking. Tony Gachoka, Professor Makau Mutua on the bench, and they are having a slugfest, if you will. This is the rumble in the jungle. Let me read a couple of the tweets here, guys. It's these guys. Moi says, you gotta love this guy, Tony Gachoka. He spits fire. Tell them, Tony. Shylock Hassan Ali says, please, Mutua, respect the verdict of Kenyan people and accept Uhuru as president and stop being used as tissue paper by the West. Edwin Wawero says, boss, tuma waiter Tony akimbiliwe Vix Kingo.
Asante, I got it.
Gentlemen, okay, real quick. You didn't answer that question from Table 48 at Hebesha, and these guys they're clamoring for an answer. About that you will never ever support President Uhuru Kenyatta. In fact, you insist on calling him Mr. Kenyatta, right? The question is, what are your next steps after this hearing today? What are your next steps? And the second question is, as an individual, what is your personal contribution to Kenya?
You know, there is a false assumption, about the question. The false assumption is that every citizen of every country must support their president. Okay? Mm-hmm. There is no requirement in any constitution or document that I know of that says that I have to support a president. Okay? The requirement for a citizen is to support their state and their country, as long as that state and that country is doing the right thing. My allegiance is not to an individual. So the question of asking me whether I support Mr. Kenyatta or don't support him does not arise. It doesn't arise.
And what is your biggest problem with him, Prof? Tell us, what is your biggest problem?
I have no problem with Mr. Kenyatta. In fact, I once had, very pleasant exchanges with Mr. Kenyatta in London in 2006 over the Anglo-leasing matter, where I was the lawyer for Mr. John Gidongo. And we had lunch together. We shared drinks. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
But?
He's a nice guy. But all I want to say for now is that the man is charged with crimes against humanity, against the Kenyan people.
If this case
and that charge itself should give Kenyans a reason for pause. If someone, let me just say this: if Tony Gachoka today, for example, was charged with murder or with rape, for example, God forbid, do you think that Kenyans would vote for him? To be president? Would he, for example, be allowed to run?
Tony, can I ask one more question?
I want to be clear.
One more question, Tony. One more question. Prof.
Yes.
If this case is thrown out, let's say down the line, it's thrown out.
Yes.
Would you support the president and this administration? Would you turn around and support him?
Well, let me just say this. A lot depends on how the case concludes. The case could conclude in many ways. I mean, there are many options on the table. The case could be dismissed. The case could go on. The suspects, could be convicted. The case could be delayed. I mean, there are so many options out here. Mr. Kenyatta could be charged with obstruction of justice. We don't know. If the Kenya government does not produce the evidence, that is required. No, just what a minute.
Would you support?
So depending upon how the case concludes. If, in fact, Mr. Kenyatta is tried in a fair and open court and is not found to be guilty, I'll rest my case.
You rest your case.
Tony,
your thoughts?
I didn't interrupt him. I hope I'll have the same 3 minutes he had. Number one, Nelson Mandela was jailed by a court. And everybody knows, 27 years, he paid the price for freedom. Being taken by a court and jailed by a judge is no accolade. I want to be very clear. When I compared Uhuru and Jomo Kenyatta, they were both, in my view, persecuted by colonial powers. People came here and wanted regime change. Uhuru Kenyatta was a patsy. Let me make it very clear for this historical day of Uhuru's Kapenguria. Uhuru was elected against the background, not another Kikuyu. Uhuru was elected that you can't elect people because of the charges at the ICC. Uhuru was elected with a new constitution that required 50+1% of all Kenyans and half the counties. And Uhuru beat Raila Amolo Odinga by 1 million votes. Had we gone for a rerun, it would have been the same song. Now let's be very clear. The man was elected by Kenyans, of which he has only 1 vote. I am tired of this idea in a country. When you are defeated in a democratic election, yes, you can comment, but your opinion, we have a sacred rule in journalism. I did not interrupt him. But opinion is free,
but you are repeating yourself. You are repeating yourself.
Are sacred.
You are repeating yourself.
It was the third US president who said that on matters of style, I swim with the current. But on matters of principle, I stand as a rock. I am defending the democratic choice, the sovereignty of the Kenyan people who chose their president.
But the Prof also says he's not even sure the president won.
No, but he's not calling him the president. He's calling him Mr. Kenyatta. It is disrespectful. You should not even call him a professor. You should call him a writer or an article. If he will not appreciate the title of Uhuru as president, from now on, I will never address him as professor.
What will you call him?
I will call him Makau Mutua.
Yes.
I will call him a son. What is the point of this?
All right, Tony.
Just hold on.
Go on, Prof.
Just hold on. There's no need for Tony to be hysterical. He's getting hysterical. I'm saying, my brother, calm down. Just calm down. What I have said, we are here to discuss a case at the ICC. We are not here to discuss the election of Mr. Kenyatta to the office of president.
You said that name again?
Okay. That is not what we are doing here. Okay,
we are here to, I'm not here for you to demean the office of the presidency of Kenya,
and the way,
elected by the people.
And the way you are, because we're not asked to come in to talk about the election. We're not here to talk about the election. We're here to talk about the case that the man faces at the ICC. Let me just tell you this.
Yes.
Let me just tell you this. I think it's preposterous for you to compare.
Yes.
Nelson Mandela's jailing.
Yes.
By an illegal, racist apartheid court in South Africa.
Yes. Because of the Soweto.
To conflate that, just listen, to conflate that with Mr. Kenyatta's charges for crimes against
humanity. There was a Soweto uprising because of police brutality.
Just listen to
the Kikuyu nation was attacked.
Oh,
and let me be very clear. What did Uhuru do?
Are we not talking about the Kikuyu nation?
Well, I think we're deviating from the subject here, guys.
Who attacked who?
Oh, come on, man.
Come on.
Guys.
I mean, why was Uhuru taken? He was not president. He doesn't bear the highest criminal responsibility. He was the then chairman of KANU. Uhuru had no executive.
Who should have gone, Tony?
Kibaki and his friend Raila. Those are the people. In fact, I hope the case can be reviewed so that Raila and Kibaki can face. I don't know what
is there a possibility.
Tony, there are laws and there are legal processes, and I keep on telling you this. I keep on wanting to return you back to the law. Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto did not get to The Hague by mistake or by accident. There was a commission of inquiry chaired by Justice Waki. Okay?
Driven by
just listen. Which commission of inquiry gathered evidence far and wide, including evidence, as I understand it, from the spy agency.
And
it is based upon, wait a minute, it is based upon that evidence that Mr. Waki gave an envelope containing the names of the people who bore the greatest responsibility.
Correct, Prof, but there were 20 names in that envelope. There were 20 original names.
But prosecutors are, there's something, again, I just want to make clear that Tony understands this very well. There's something called prosecutorial discretion. In every jurisdiction, a prosecutor decides which cases he has the highest probability of winning.
But very conveniently, Prof, there was 3 PNU and 3 ODM. Very conveniently. Ocampo did this.
Jeff, remember?
Wait a minute, Tony. Let me get to my point. During the course of the hearings, 2 on the PNU side were let go.
And they were charged together
as co-conspirators.
Yes. How do you take that?
Leaving one co-conspirator on his own in one case. Do you co-conspirate on your own, Prof?
You see, you guys, sound like you live in the Middle East, where conspiracies run rampant. You seem to think that conspiracies, exist around every corner. But no one can convince me that there's a conspiracy between the prosecution and the judges in the ICC to create parity of suspects. The fact that some PNU guys were let go and some ODM guys were let go, I chalk that up to.
Jeff, I want to ask.
Hold on. You said that's coincidence.
To coincidence, yes.
You can ask.
Hold on, it's coming. You're coming.
Unless you can profile evidence to show me otherwise.
I want him to tell me, as he lectures in law tomorrow in Buffalo, whether he will teach his students when they are prosecutors or whatever they become, DPP, whether they can ask any court for an indefinite adjournment. In other words, Mr. Your Honor, I have no evidence. But because I believe that Jeff Koinange has committed a crime, Your Honor, I'm asking for an indefinite adjournment. In fact, I can suggest a few dates. 1, just before the Kenyan general elections. Number 2, if the court likes, until such a time that this court, the mood and the evidence changes. Where are the rights of the accused?
Let me just say this.
Let me just
say this.
I haven't learned.
Tony, let me just tell you this. The job of the prosecutor is to go after suspects and to try to prove their culpability.
But the prosecution hasn't done a good job.
But wait a minute, I'm not finished. That is the work of a prosecutor. If, for example, I was prosecuting the mafia in Chicago or in New York or anywhere else, and the mafia were going off killing of suspects, I would start investigating the killing of those witnesses. That's exactly what I would do. And I would ask the court, by the way, to give me as much leeway as possible, okay, to delay the case, indefinitely until I can get, the evidence that I need.
But Prof,
I will do that. Prof. Now, the court does not have to agree with me. But as a prosecutor, I'm entitled to ask for that.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Hasn't the prosecution bungled in this case against Kenya? Hasn't it bungled for the most part?
Let me say this. Jeff, it is very difficult to prosecute a sitting head of state.
He wasn't sitting head of state when he was hauled in.
No, but I'm saying now, it is very difficult to prosecute a sitting head of state. It's extremely difficult because a head of state controls the levers of power and the instruments of coercion.
There's an arrest warrant against Omar al-Bashir in Khartoum.
Jeff, there is no point of this
and that's my point. My point is that Omar al-Bashir is a sitting head of state. And that's why it's so difficult to prosecute.
Can I quote KQC? There is no more choices before the ICC and the world and before Mr. Makau Mutua. There are two matters now to be determined in a few weeks. Number one, an acquittal and a verdict of not guilty against His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, CGH, the President of Kenya. The next one is whether or not there is going to be an adjournment or no adjournment. Now, I want this to be very clear. Today was a status conference that was done to cooperation about the Republic of Kenya versus the prosecutor.
Right.
The court will decide whether cooperation between the Republic and the prosecutor amounts to guilt of committing crimes against humanity.
Let me just say this.
Go on.
So, Tony, listen to me for a minute. The human mind can play tricks on a person.
Yeah, so can lawyers.
The human
so
mind. Just listen.
I got to court every day.
And the human mind is playing tricks on you. Let me tell you something.
Have you ever been to a divorce court?
Let me tell you something. I mean, there's something called thoughtful wishing.
Yes.
And thinkful wishing. So what? If you think that you know what is in the minds of the prosecutor or in the minds of the court or how the court is going to rule, let me tell you that you have a surprise coming. I don't know what's going to happen. It is entirely possible that in the next 2 weeks, Mr. Kenyatta and Mr. Ruto could be let go scot-free. That's a possibility, okay? And if that happens, so be it, okay? It could also be the case, my brother, that in fact, other options come into play.
Did you listen to the prosecutor today?
Listen.
She said, if you don't give me an adjournment, my case is finished.
Now listen.
Did you watch the proceedings? Barracuda began by aggressive.
There's nothing new about that.
Prof,
there's nothing new about that.
Brian Caxton is saying, remind the man who speaks of law that a man is considered innocent until proven guilty.
Absolutely.
I have never said anything but that. Mr. Kenyatta is innocent and you're proven guilty. So is Mr. Ruto. I have always said that. I don't know why you don't get it through your head that this is something I've always said.
Who is a father? He's a son. He's an individual other than a politician.
Of course he is.
A charge of crimes against humanity on his head indefinitely. And you say that you want an adjournment because you have no evidence until he brings the evidence to hang himself. Let me say this. You can fool some of the people some of the time. All of the people some of the time. But you cannot fool all the people all of the time.
Listen,
and
I don't think that you understand.
I am saying you can ask for an indefinite adjournment.
Just listen.
You only say how much time do you need and for what?
Just listen.
What do you need specifically?
No, listen to
Tony,
me.
Listen to me.
Listen to me. I don't think that you understand the meaning of an indefinite, adjournment. It is not what you think it says. It's a reasonable time. It means a reasonable time for the prosecution to be able to work with the court and the judges to get the evidence that is necessary.
Don't you think they're trying to save face, Prof? They're trying to save face? ICC?
I don't think so. I don't think the ICC, has to save face. I don't think so at all. I think the ICC is following a legal process. And, and the legal process is that Kenya has obligations.
Yeah, but since the ICC was formed, only one person has been convicted, and that person was African. Out of the hundreds of millions of euros they've spent, one conviction. They're trying to save face, Prof, because this court is in trouble.
And your point is what?
My point is, hauling this man all the way to The Hague was just to say, you know what, guys?
No, listen, Jeff. There are 8 cases, there are 8 situations before the ICC. Okay?
Yeah.
4 of those situations are self-referrals by African states. African states themselves took those cases to the ICC. The other 2 cases were referred to the ICC, one of them by the AU, in fact. Okay? You know, so this argument. I'm not finished. So this argument that you know that the court is going after African states is preposterous.
Excuse me,
you know, so the argument that you are raising, you know, which is that somehow I think you are implying that the court is racist.
Yes,
it's a canard. If it's just a canard. If, for example, I was to catch 2 suspects or 3 suspects, and 5 others went scot-free, would you tell me not to prosecute the ones that I've gotten?
No, Jeff.
I would, but you know what,
Jeff? One of the problems I have with NGOs, and you know, one of the problems I have with NGOs is none of them is elected, but all of them have an opinion that is meant to be louder than the other. I'm only stating a factual position. The prosecutor.
Has this man ever heard of democracy?
No, and speech rights?
Has he ever heard of that?
The prosecutor said today, I have no evidence.
Gentlemen, don't make me.
The prosecutor said today in a status conference, it's a matter of public record. I have no evidence against Mr. Kenyatta. I therefore apply formally for an indefinite adjournment. And Mr. Kenyatta must be ordered to go and tell his officers to give us that evidence to jail him.
Gentlemen, let's take a break. Let's pay some bills, come back, talk some more. That speech the president made before he left. I want your thoughts on that.
Absolutely.
That speech.
Absolutely.
The speech where he handed over power to his deputy. Your thoughts after the break.
Yes.
My goodness. This bench is smoking. At Tony Gachoka, at Makau, Mutua, at koinange Jeff. The hashtag is JKL. JKL will be back in a moment.
Taking pride in constructing tomorrow's skylines. Adding strength to Kenya's landmarks. Presenting the power for specialized constructions. Cementing the nation's future. Simba Cement, the strength and pride of Kenya.
To 100,000 shillings cash. You can also choose the yellow card to win instant prizes. Guinness, made of more.
Sport Pesa, now in Kenya, is offering you over 200 leagues to play on and win. Playing is easy. SMS game to 79079. Then send the game ID, your pick, and the amount you wish to play. Your winning is equal to your play amount multiplied by the odd. Play anytime before the game starts and win instantly after the last whistle of the referee. Iko Pesa na Sport Pesa.
Join me this Sunday as we feature an exciting selection of properties available in the market, including commercial and residential plots. We have also lined up unique trends and decor ideas to enhance your living space, as well as a highlight on the wide range of insurance solutions Aon Kenya has to offer. Our integrated telecommunication partner, Orange Telecom, continues to bring innovative solutions for our home and office use. Tune in for all this and more. There is something for everyone.
For the first time in Kenya, 3 explosive days of collaborative creative innovations, which will be auctioned and proceeds donated. There'll be great music from the new and old school, taking you down memory lane, and new exotic sounds. Great fun for the whole family. Plus, you'll watch Kenyan films big screen. It's 3 days of non-stop fun like never before. Only at the Sondeka Festival 2014. See you there.
Win, win, win. KTN is making your television viewing a very rewarding experience. All you need to do is watch KTN programs, SMS your name to 22110 and answer simple questions, and you could be walking away with one of the many Samsung goodies up for...
And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the poolside of the Intercontinental Hotel. What a show! What guest we had today. When Tony Gachoka shows up, you know it's going to be a shocker when you throw in Professor Makau Mutua. Well, it's no holds barred, folks. I've been calling it Rumble in the Jungle all day. That's what it is, the Battle Royale. Let me just read a tweet from a guy you know very well, Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, the Grand Mullah himself. He says, Uhuru and Ruto cases are the most important for fundraising for the ICC. When these cases end, Europe will close the tabs. That's what the Grand Mullah says. In fact, he'll be on the show tomorrow night, so guys, make sure you watch. Prof, before we answer that, and maybe others.
Well, he has a crystal ball. I don't have one.
Oh, in fact, I was going to go to your crystal ball, and I'll go to it in a minute.
Okay.
You don't come home very often, and you're here for a purpose. Why are you here?
Well, I'm here because I was asked by the Hekima Institute for Peace and International Relations to come and give a keynote address tomorrow on the ICC and transitional justice. So I'll be doing that tomorrow on Riara Road. You're all welcome to come and listen to me.
So this is your warm-up?
Well, no, I don't need to warm up. You know, I'm already warmed up. I was born warmed up. Let me just say that that today we heard the former President of Tanzania, Benjamin Mkapa, give a keynote address on these issues. It's a very important conference. The issues that the conference deals with are the same issues that we are talking about here. How do societies that have been traumatized, be able to repair themselves and address the wounds of the past to be able to go forward?
Okay, good point.
That's what we are doing.
I support initiatives that help integrate communities. In fact, Makau Mutua has for a long time shared one thinking with me on social democracy, where there is a need for capital and the social needs of the poor to be integrated in a managed way. And the new constitution was trying to address that. I hope that when the politics cool down and we implement the new constitution, there can be more sensitive initiatives that not only bring cohesion, but also bring equity.
Yeah. Tomorrow,
thank you.
Okay, let's go back to the speech the president made in front of both houses. Unprecedented speech, they called it. He called both houses, Senate and members of Parliament, and he addressed them, and he literally handed over power to his deputy under Article 147.3, which everybody quotes now. 147.3. I can quote that. Tony, first of all, your thoughts?
I know, yeah, and I want ex-professor for me, Makau Mutua, to kind of be fair to me on this issue.
Okay.
I believe that every president, every leader has a chance to chart your own history. And I think Uhuru began a rocky start in politics by the nomination by retired President Moi, and then he lost a general election. And he was at one point against the Kibaki administration with the Orange movement that rejected the first attempt to change the constitution. And then he went into PNU with Kibaki and formed some coalition. In fact, I remember when,
Tony,
I just want to be very clear. I think that in the journey of him being a president, he has made certain decisions. But the most important have happened for me this last month. In particular, when he went to Parliament to prepare the country for his going to The Hague, there seemed to be a very coordinated PR effort to go bring the political houses together, invite bipartisan Senate and Parliament, then go to office of the President, hand over power ceremoniously, the drive off with the limousine, the going through the passenger hall at the international airport, going and so on. Now, for better, for worse, I think for better, the President thought this through, and his team, in my view, executed a coup d'etat of PR. Now, if this does have the effect of raising his popularity, then I think he did a major thing. And the speech you're speaking about was actually aimed about that.
Prof, your thoughts?
Yeah, let me just say this. I mean, I was disappointed. This is a poor country, and we all know this. And we know that every single shilling should be devoted to development. Not to empty theater, not to legal mambo jumbo, not to theatrics. Section 147 of the Constitution is self-executing. That section does not require the president to do anything at all when he's out of the country for Mr. Ruto to act as president.
But the symbolism,
and by the way, but let me just say this. There is nothing in the Constitution, that refers to an acting president. I've seen people saying that Mr. Ruto is an acting president. Mr. Ruto is nothing of the sort. That language does not exist in the Constitution. Wait a minute. He is acting as a president, but he's not an acting president. As a title. There's no title like that. Let me just say this.
I have one question.
Every time the president exits the scene, the sovereignty of Kenyan, airspace, Mr. Ruto becomes the effective, governor, of the country. So this, this, I think that what Mr. Kenyatta was thinking, let me just tell you what he was thinking. First of all, it's good politics to do what he did. Yes. I agree with that. It's good theatrics. It's good, for the common man to say that I'm not taking the sovereignty of 40 million Kenyans, to the Hague. The fact of the matter is that Mr. Kenyatta took the sovereignty of 40 million Kenyans to the Hague because Mr. Kenyatta never resigned as president. That is the only way in which he would not have involved 40 million Kenyans by going to the Hague.
Power. Jeff,
if he resigned.
Makau Mutua may forget that I was director of protocol for the Republic of Kenya. In fact, I was here when Kofi Annan came. I've always asked the question to the NGO world, who paid Kofi Annan? Who invited him here? He stayed here at the Serena how many months? Who paid him? Who paid his secretariat? I was there when they signed the coalition agreement, Nusu Mukate, in front of the grand media.
Tony, your point
Kibaki and Raila went to parliament. Just hear what I'm saying.
But what is your point, man?
My point is very simple. Anything that is not done by Makau Mutua's henchman, Raila Odinga, is illegal, expensive, and otherwise. Raila and Kibaki went to Kidaguni. They went to form a cabinet in Sagana. They went everywhere. Nusu Mukate. We had a new office bought here, Shelby P House. Raila wanted a toilet. He wanted guards. Even he has them today. Who pays for Raila's guards? Who pays? Now, let me tell you this. The president of Kenya making a decision to go to the Hague has a right to inform the representatives of the people of Kenya who are elected that I'm going for these reasons. And he went and had a speech in parliament. He did not go to expend money. Secondly and finally, the idea of the president actually ceding power in writing was not just theatrical. It was real because he was accused as a person, not as a president.
And the opposition had been rallying around saying, you said this was a personal matter.
Yes.
Make it personal.
Yes, he did.
Look, again, I think we are, entering territory that is dangerous for non-lawyers like this guy here. And what I'm trying to say is that Section 147 of the Constitution is self-executing. It just, Mr. Ruto becomes the act as president as soon as Mr. Kenyatta exits, Kenyan airspace. That is just a fact. So for Mr. Kenyatta to purport to sign a document handing over power is nothing but empty political theater. Let me just say this. I think, Tony, you have buyer's remorse.
Here's what?
Buyer's remorse. And let me tell you what. You work for Mr. Odinga.
Yes,
Did you not?
Yes.
And then you exited.
No, I didn't exit.
What happened to you?
I resigned.
Why did you resign? That's why I'm saying your buyer's remorse.
Why? Mr. Odinga is a good man.
But the kind of animals that you just exude against the man is not understandable in my view.
The same way you oppose the president?
But I'm opposing the president based upon a specific charge for crimes against humanity. I have no other opposition to Mr. Kenyatta except that.
But nothing good he does ever, you never comment on that, Prof. You never ever give credit where it's due.
No.
Because all this is...
No. I mean, you are asking me, is that an empirical statement? I mean, are you saying that you have counted the number of things that I've said about him?
You've never praised this administration, Prof. In your articles, in your speeches, nothing.
No, look, I'm not a columnist whose job is to praise governments.
Okay.
That's not my job.
Give credit where it's due.
That's not my job either. Your job, as a journalist, is not to praise governments. Your job is to use your brains and your eyes, and your knowledge to analyze what's going on and to push for change. That's what I've done. I am not a sycophant. I'm not a praise singer. I'm not some of these people who go around saying hallelujah to Jubilee. I'm not one of those people.
Can I be very clear?
Go on.
Can I be very
clear?
Tony. First of all, you must withdraw the statement that you are trying to allude that I'm a sycophant, because I didn't say that. I didn't say you are a sycophant. Very heavy words for you.
I didn't say you are a sycophant.
You want me to use?
Did I say you are a sycophant?
No, then please.
I didn't say
that. Go there.
But they are Jubilee sycophants, are they or not?
Yeah, they are. And I'm
okay, then I'm not saying you are.
I don't want to go there. I want to go here. And I want to finish it here.
Okay.
I want to say this.
Yes.
And I want to be very, very clear. I have no personal animosity against Raila Odinga. I did not come here to discuss the last election. It was decided by Kenyans in their millions, and they chose a president. What I came here to discuss was the ICC and the office of the prosecutor, who have an innocent man charged because they have no evidence against the crimes against he committed. And I'm here to say international pressure, NGO pressure notwithstanding, you can only be convicted on the evidence. You cannot be convicted on articles, opinions, or the opinion of any lawyer.
Okay. I don't normally read two tweets from the same person, but the Grand Mullah seems to be enjoying this show.
Okay, fine.
He's tweeted back.
Fine.
Grand Mullah says, "Hey, Prof, welcome to Kenya. From the ivory tower of Buffalo to the frying pan of Tony Gachoka."
What frying pan? I mean, Tony Gachoka is a friend of mine, and we are having an open discussion about the future of this country.
Yes, which is important.
And I'm enjoying it.
And debate is good, Prof.
And I'm enjoying it.
Now tell me something, Prof.
Yes.
Look into your crystal ball.
Yes.
Like you usually do every week in the Sunday paper.
Yes.
Look into your crystal ball. What do you see going forward for this country, for democracy?
Well, first of all, I must say that I'm very encouraged by some of the developments that I've seen. You've said that I don't, see good things in society, which is wrong. I think the country has discovered, a bunch of, minerals and resources. And I think that's really a great thing. I just hope that we don't give all of it to the Chinese for a song. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I think that the future of this country, rests on the youth. Our youth are very innovative. They are very forward-looking. And they want to prosper. They're the future of this country. But I think what is holding back this country is a ravenous elite, And that ravenous elite is no one has a corner on the thieving class, political class that we have. They're in Jubilee, they're in CORD, they're in all these political parties, okay? And I think until the youth of this country take back their government from all these thieves, that this country will not go forward.
I have two things to say. This discussion has been polemical, sometimes apologetical, but most important for me, it has been expository. I know Makau Mutua will understand what I've said, but I want to remind him, as much as he knows the law, I know English. Intelligence is the capacity to discover relationships and to deduce correlates that are relevant to the solution of a problem.
Was that English, Tony?
Now I want to put it to you.
That is just gibberish.
Now could I be very
it's
clear?
Gibberish.
I want to be very clear.
I didn't understand what you said.
Exactly correct.
Now let me now break it down for you.
Go on.
There is a crossroads for the world. Right now, the Arab world is fighting together with America over the skies of Iraq to fight ISIS. There has been a change of policy towards Iran. There is many shifts of public and world opinion. I can guarantee you here on Jeff Koinange, and you hear it live first from me, the moment the prosecutor writes to the Assembly of State Parties to discuss the Republic of Kenya, the African Union will write a letter on the same day to discuss the conduct of the office of the prosecutor and the conduct of this case in the case of Uhuru Kenyatta. You can quote Tony Gachoka. I have told you live at JKL. We are going to take the war to them. Africa is of age. You cannot have a president of an African country and you have no evidence just to degrade him and put on CNN headlines that the first African president, he has come to the ICC in order, as Ahmed Abnazir says, to collect money from the same West who paid Kofi Annan here to create Anusumukate that almost destroyed this country. Let me say this to the West: you live your life, we live our own. You go and deal with the Middle East where you never take them to ICC. You come to Africa and you take democratic elected leaders and you put them to and Makau Mutua.
Let me just say this.
New York Times.
Let me just say this.
Post against his own country. And let me say this. And I want them to hear, because now I will not go. I'm going back to retirement. When you next call me here is when Uhuru shall be free, and I shall say, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, he is free at last.
Oh my.
So
echoes of Dr. King.
So, you know, I don't want to say anything bad about my brother here. Yeah. But I just want to say that, Tony, for a long time, you've been a wonderful journalist. You know, I used to listen to you on radio. You know, pithy analyst, very straightforward, very erudite. But I must say that, you know, at times, you know, you surprise me when you become a bloviator and you start to take leave of your senses.
So does your article?
No,
even your articles.
Let me just finish. No, you've spoken. I think so. Right
you
now,
have to read
right now, when you start acting as a hysterical individual here, you know, you shock me. You know, you're supposed to be an intellectual. You're supposed to be calm and collected. You know, so let me just say this to you. I don't know what's going to happen with the cases, but I sure hope for a fact that the Kenya government produces whatever evidence it has, because I think that is the only way that Mr. Kenyatta will be able to clear his name. If these cases end up in a way that leaves a cloud hanging over his head, either because people believe that evidence was concealed, or witnesses were disappeared, or they were bribed, the inference that will be drawn by the public at large, both Kenyan and international, is that there was something to hide.
Mr. Kenyatta, the reason you're taken to court, there's a winner and a loser, and you're a winner.
Okay,
you
gentlemen,
can't all win.
At the end of the day, let's not forget, 1,300 people died in that conflict.
They did die.
You don't want this country to go down that road again.
Yes.
Exactly correct.
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Prof.
Thank you so much,
Good
man.
to see you as always.
Thank you so much, man.
Good luck tomorrow in the speech. And we'll see you next time you're in town.
Thank you. By the way, great book you wrote.
Oh, thanks so much.
I love that book.
I appreciate it.
And I want other Kenyans to write books like that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Real quick question.
Yes.
President Kenyatta offered you a job. Would you take it?
I'll think about it.
Jeff, I would advise him against it. This is John Githongo's lawyer. He might tip the president. No. Uru, no.
Gentlemen, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
My goodness, what a show. What guests we have today. Tony Gachoka. Not disappoint. Keep tweeting at Tony Gachoka, at Makau Mutua, at koinange. The hashtag is JKL. Tomorrow night, you heard, same time, same place, the Grand Mullah shows up. He's been having a tweef. That's a fight on Twitter. Like a Twitter beef. A tweef with none other than Kakamega Senator Bonnie Khalwale. The bullfighter himself will also show up. It's gonna be a massive, massive show tomorrow night as well. And you can only get it right here on JKL, only on Kenya's television network, KTN. Thanks so much for watching. Good night. Good luck. Oh my.
Oh my.
What a show.
What a show.